Hello everyone, Michelle here from the Creative Cove. Thanks for joining me today. Today's just a fun video on crafting. I sat down with some scrap papers and decided to make some mini journals. I wanted to use up some scrap fabrics as well, and I have these really cute little pieces of fabric that have writing on them that I thought would be cute to cover these old pieces of scrap cardstock that I had kicking around. Also just using some cheapy Elmer's glue here just to adhere them. I have no set plans for these journals. I was just in a crafty mood, and just before I started filming, I went to pour some glue and it went pretty much everywhere, all over my desk. So you'll see me sweeping up glue. I'm sure I'll end up pouring it all over again. So I'm basically determining the size of the journal based on the scrap cardstock that I have. Here I'm gluing two pieces down with a little middle space for the spine later. See, you can see that I clearly have no control over this glue, but it's okay. It is just one of those rainy days where I am just having fun with paper, glue, and fabric today. So just saturating everything that I want glued down because I want a rigid card here. I don't want the fabric to be loose anywhere. I want the fabric to be adhered completely. It's a very messy project. Very messy. But it's fun. So I'm just saturating everything, and then I'll start folding everything in on itself. I could probably try and figure out how to fast forward some of this, but I haven't figured that out yet. Me and my editing skills. So this is a good way to use up little bits of fabric that you might have kicking around, or if you are a slow stitcher and like to stitch things, you don't always have to have a soft cover. You can take your slow stitch and glue it right to cardstock. Here I'm trying to find a flexible piece of paper. I don't want a rigid spine. I like my spines flexible. And so I'm just using a scrap piece of paper here. And I'm going to cut it down to size and leave about 1/8 of an inch as best I can in the center to give the things room to bend. So I do this with a few different pieces of scrap. You might want to fast forward to the next phase, but you'll see I cover up several pieces of cardboard here. So I do a couple of different ones here, so I'm going to see if I could figure out how to play a little bit of music until I catch up and they've dried a little bit. There's only so much I can say while I'm doing these. So let's see if I can figure out how to include a little bit of music. And of course, you can always fast forward to the next segment where I start talking again. So after that, it's all dried. So maybe you like the music, maybe fast forward to this point. Like I said, there's only so much I can say in the video, and I don't like videos that are completely quiet. So I try to choose a little music to make the crafting mood go along. So here are the journals that I have cut into place and just added some signatures inside them. They're not finished yet. I wanted to play with this one with you guys. So this is the one that the lace was glued over top, and I really like that effect. So now I'm going to turn it into a journal. I'll show you my process. I've showed this before, not too long ago actually, using some tape that I love to use. You'll see I'm just using some scrap watercolor as the spine. There's two pieces there, just so it's flexible, because like I said, I do like a flexible spine in my journals. This is that tape that I like to use. It's a medical tape. I'll just buy it at the dollar store. And I swear, it is by far my favorite tape. And it's like $1.50. It's so great. It's very strong. It's not overly adhesive, which is nice because you can, if you see, you'll see here, I make a boo-boo. I can remove it to a certain point, but once I've pushed really hard, then it will stick. But I do love this tape. You can dye it, you can stamp on it. It's basically a fabric with an adhesive on the back. Clearly I can't speak today. So here I am trying to adjust, but I pushed it down too hard, so now it's stuck. So I'm just going to continue with it. Fold over the top there and then cover up the inside. And I really love this tape. It's just it creates the easiest, simplest binding for a cover. And what I do like too is the white finished edges of the spine. I really like my spines pretty much plain. I might put a little embellishment on them occasionally, but I really love how it kind of frames the spine with this cheap tape. And like I said, you can do anything to this tape. I like to use the scraps that I cut off, and I'll show you that in a second on my little scraps that I have sitting on my desk. So I try not to waste any. But this tape is great. Like I said, it's a medical tape. It's not the plastic one, it's the fabric one. And there you have it. Your journal's made just with tape. How do you not love that? So I like to bend my spines. That's the way I've always done my journals. I don't like rigid spines. I kind of like little pocketbook looks. Because the fabric is glued down on the corners, the edges of it aren't super neat. So what I tend to do is take a little bit of this tape and just wrap them around the edge, just to tidy up the edges on the outside of the book a little bit. And like I said, it's a very rustic book. It's just, using up scraps and having fun. I'm not overly concerned about perfection. As you can tell on this channel, I never have been. I just like to play. And I like to play with the materials I have. I like to try and think outside the box when it comes to materials. And I don't like to spend a lot of money on tools. That being said, don't get me wrong, it's nice to have tools. My gator I couldn't live without, and I wish I had a little bit more selection of punches. But, you accumulate these things over time. And not having them also makes you, think in a different way. So here's my little scrap pieces that I've been trying to get in the habit of doing. And I've done a video on this of using up my scraps as I build things. And, when I use these signatures to make these signatures, I'll use the scraps and glue them together. Trying to stay on top of my scraps. It doesn't always work, but it's fun to use up as much as you can and get it out of the way. And then you have a little collection to add to your journal. So I'm just doing this to the back just to make the overall journal look a little cohesive together. And it's that simple. You've got yourself a little cover for a journal. And you can use the whatever mediums you have. You don't have to work with cardstock. This was I can't remember what they call it. It's pretty thick stuff, almost like a cardboard, but a reinforced cardboard that I had. It came off packaging. But you can, if you want something a little rigid, you can glue several pages of paper together. You can sandwich cardboard in between paper. You can use whatever you've got. So there's the cover right there. And I'm just sticking on the last bit of tape on my little pre-made clusters before they get finalized. And there it is. So here's the other journals that I created. They do have the signatures stuffed in them, but they're not sewn in. And I was playing with some beads and lace. I wanted to embellish the one book. I really like the simple look of the writing on the fabric. So I took some elastic cording and threaded some beads that I like through a piece of elastic lace and then tied that on. That simple. So this one I'm going to embellish with you guys. It's just the little mini one, the very first one I glued. And the signature, again, is just stuffed in. It's not sewn in any way. And I thought I might use one of my clusters just to decorate the cover. I'm just playing, see what I like here. I'm going to have a look through the rest of my finished clusters and see what might work on this. Because it's a mini book, you're obviously going to work with something pretty small. And I do find one that I like. So I glue that guy down. And of course, my glue doesn't cooperate very well here, so bear with me. It's that 3-in-1. It's starting to really get manky. I have to buy some more. And I just haven't had the means to get out to the local shop that sells it. Only one shop sells it here. Otherwise, I have to go down to a bigger city. And this stuff, I love this glue, but it is a love-hate relationship with anything that is acetone based. It just evaporates. And you guys know me. I mean, there's my glue stick right there, and it's got no lid on it. So I ask for trouble. I only have myself to blame. But I did manage to get enough off. And I'll just hold it for a sec to adhere. And there you have another little cover. I found that I wanted to add some more beads. So I was deciding, do I want to add them down the side to tie the signatures in? Because I do like my signatures tied in so that I can remove pages or add pages. Do I want to just add an elastic around it? So here I just play with a few options. I have a piece of my lace elastic on the desk ready to go. That I think that was tied around my clusters, but I'm just putting it on to see what I think. Do I like it there? I find the book kind of flops open. You kind of gator mouse itself, which I don't like. So I decide to embellish with some beads, and then I decide to move the tie, which you'll see soon. So I was thinking, how can I put the beads on? The hole is too thin to thread this thick elastic through, so I have to use the finer elastic, the jewelry elastic. So I decided to put the beads on the front as an embellishment and not anything practical. They don't serve a purpose other than texture and interest. Here I am searching my desk as usual for something. My grommets here, or they're not, are they grommets? I can't remember what they're called. So I'm going to squeeze those in. So here's a tool that like I mentioned before, the gator. I just love it. It really polishes off and make things look a little bit more professional than just punching a hole through things. And it even goes right through the fabric. The glue really helps with that. If there wasn't glue in the fabric, I probably wouldn't be able to cut through it quite so neatly. So now I've got my little holes to go through. Now I'm going to feed I'm not sure what gauge this is. It's pretty thick elastic. It's not fine stuff. I'm going to say it's about maybe 3 millimeter thick, maybe 4. It's pretty thick stuff. So I have a selection of little beads here. Some I bought at Michael's and some are from recycled jewelry. And I end up going with the ones from Michael's. I really like the iridescentness to them and the texture to them. They're kind of like a cut crystal looking edge. So I'll throw those in there. And I'm trying to incorporate more beads and maybe start using some buttons and stuff so I can add more textures and interest to my journals. I always kind of leave those elements to the end and then never get to them. So this time I thought I will go ahead and use them and just add it to this video. I also want to make a book on dreams. I find dreams kind of fascinating, and I've been dreaming more lately than I ever have. Well, I shouldn't say dreaming more. I just remember my dreams when I wake up in the morning, which has always been rare for me. So I thought it'd be kind of fun to make a dream book, embellish it with little trinkets and things, and give myself some space to write what I remember down in the morning. And then it'd be fun to read back and look at it and kind of analyze the phases of life and what maybe triggered that dream. I had a nightmare when I first moved away to this house to build it. And my son had moved out, and I had this horrible dream, and I realized it was separation anxiety. It was pretty fascinating, and that's kind of what's interested me in dreams since. So here I am tying it through, trying to figure out how many beads I need. So I play a little bit here. I put one on, I take one off, and I'm off camera here, sorry. You're focused in the moment. So I'm just threading it through the hole, and then I think, oh, maybe I'll add one more bead because there seems to be a gap. Having a nice clean desk would probably help with this process, but you're never going to see that here. Not on my channel. I work in the chaos. I love the chaos. When I first come in the room, I like a clean room because it kind of gives you some inspiration. Here I realize I've got one too many bead again, so I just take one off. But once I get started and the mess starts flowing, the creativity starts flowing. And I find that also really fascinating, how some people work very organized, very neat, very tidy. And then there's some of us who are like me, who are just a messy crafter. And we still yield, both kind of crafters yield something very creative. And I think that's kind of neat, how people can craft in such different environments and still end up with some really fantastic stuff each. I mean, you can give two people the exact same thing, same materials, everything, and they do it their own way and end up with their very own end result, which is kind of cool. So here I still haven't solved the problem that the book still kind of springs open. So I decide to put the elastic around the front as more embellishment. Do I want to wrap it over and close it? And I think I do. So now I have to figure out how to put the signatures back in. I really love the beads running down the side. I think they look really pretty. It's more of a, I don't know, it kind of looks elegant or something. And I think that journal is going to look really cute just sitting on a shelf. So I just find some random string. I think these are off a packet of tags. You're supposed to tie these onto the tags. And I think the rustic nature of this rope will be perfect to tie the signatures in. I just want to make sure it's going to be long enough, which it is. So instead of tying it around, I decide I'm going to put some holes in it to hold the paper in. Again, the signatures are just tied in. That's how I like to put my signatures in. I'm sure I've repeated myself several times in several videos that way. I've rarely sewn signatures in. If I'm finishing a journal and selling it, I might sew them in. But again, I like the option of people pulling out the papers, playing with it. And of course, we're all familiar with the whole gator mouth thing, where there's just too much in there. So you can decorate your book to your heart's content and then realize you've got way too much, and then just build another journal cover and add those extra pages to it to eliminate that whole gator thing. I kind of like the gator sometimes. Just to me, it just looks like you were having so much fun. You couldn't stop yourself and you overstuffed your book. There's nothing wrong with that. It just shows that you really love your craft. So I'm just going to tie the signature in. This is not elastic cording. I would recommend elastic cording. I think you can get a much tighter, more flexible bind here. but I'm just using the rope. So the only danger of the rope is when you're pulling the papers in and out, it can tear them. So you got to be careful when you're moving them in and out. And I just tie a knot, and that's it. And I got a little decorative string. Of course, you can tie it another way so the string doesn't show. I've shown that in other videos. And there's the finished little mini journal. So there they are. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it gave you some inspiration. And what else? I can't remember what else I filmed here. Oh, yeah. I didn't like the cover of this one, so I pulled this off. I really like just the simplicity of the book. I think I overthought it. I really like the lace over top of that black and white image, so I decided just to leave it natural and then just add a little color of lace here just to add a little interest. This book I don't finish off. I just wrap in this lace. You guys get the idea. And I've got to make a signature for this, which I haven't done yet. And here I go fighting with the glue again. The never-ending glue battle. One day you'll see the next video or a video and I'll have a brand new bottle. And I'll be really happy. You can see it's empty. I'm just trying to get as much out as I possibly can. It's really rainy again here today. It was so hot yesterday. It was like 36 degrees in Ontario, which is pretty warm. But I sure loved it. We went for a long walk, Millie and I, and a big swim. So that was really nice. So today it's rainy. Thought I'd get a little bit more crafting done. Finally film another video. It's early in the morning here. And I have to get ready for work. Walk this dog. And that will be my day. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I hope you have some fun crafting. I hope this video gives you inspiration. I hope my channel gives you inspiration. Please subscribe, share, and like the videos. It really helps the channel and it's much appreciated. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I'm tidying up some glue. I don't know what I've got stuck there. I'm having a hard time saying goodbye. All right, here they all are. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.